Good evening, everyone. Just setting my laptop up. Just check it. Oh yes, there it is. Good eye. Looks like we've got one person in there at the moment. Just say hello or wave or something if you are there and that you can hear me and all that kind of thing. I think we've got one person who has checked is there, but haven't seen any comments at this point. Not sure how we'll go with getting anyone tonight. Oh, okay. Shall wait. Okay, I'm going to start. It's a couple of minutes in, so I could be playing along by myself tonight. That's okay. Hello everyone, it's Linda from Inspired Art Journaling. Just having another Watch Me Work Wednesday night for those that may be interested in just seeing what I'm getting up to. I am going to be working with the Lindys, the new Bohemian sets, the what is it, the Boho Dreams and the GYPSY Vibes. Sorry, I've had a mental block then. Okay, so we're going to be looking at these two new sets, and they're pretty, they're magicals, they're sparkly, they've got a little bit of silver running through them. But anyway, let's get started in and have a look at it. So I've just got a few samples here of some ATCs, not ATCs, tags that I've done in the past. Some of you might recognize this one. This is the one I found the other day on the actual Lindys website. I entered it into one of their challenges last year, or yeah, August last year, and lo and behold, I didn't win a prize, but second best thing, it's actually on their website. And so it's a beautiful one. The reason I brought it out is because it's not really evident on here, but I'm going to show you the paper that I used for on that particular ATCs. I made this ATC myself, and I've done some threading, weaving through it as well. So here, you know, just to show you, I'm going to be doing a couple of little tags just to show you what these colours are like and what we can do with them. That one I just wanted to show you is embossing, and this is a purchased embossed. It comes embossed like that. This is so old. I think it was from Prima Marketing. Many moons ago. It was a 6x6 book, and it has all these self-embossed images on them in white, and when you put colour over them, they come up beautiful like that. So they are old, but what I decided to do was just chop them all up into tags. So welcome if you've just joined me. Going to be working with the Lindys new sets tonight. So what I've got here is, I'll just sort of show you a couple of things. I actually love using Lindys on tags. I'll show you here. I'll just put this box to the side because it's probably casting a shadow. So again, here's more of these self-embossed papers that I have made into tags. And so, excuse me, these I've done previous, but I can't quite remember the colours, but they're the magicals, they're all Lindys, but there's two tones, there's a teal and a blue on there, and when you do it, it just it really does come up lovely. So when I'm creating backgrounds, I love to use Lindys as a background. That's one of my favourite old shaker ones that is no longer available, but I think they're a fabulous way for creating backgrounds for when I'm doing my ATCs or tags or anything really. I do love the Lindys, so I'm just sort of quickly showing you here some different ones, and these are all from within the last couple of years. I think that was from the Under the Sea or whatever. I think it's Under the Sea. And yeah, so I just went crazy with this Prima book. Beautiful teal one there, very, very, very shiny. Okay, and you know, you can do the sprinkle and spritz technique. If you don't know what that is, I'll show you that after too. And you can see here again, that's the Under the Sea. I kind of went a bit crazy doing Under the Sea tags. I've not done anything with these. This is just me playing with Lindys. When I get a new set, I tend to go a little bit berserk with it. But they're just some lots of bits that I have done. And I'll just sort of show you a couple of other things that I've done here. I want to show you this in particular. Now, these are 3 that I did. When was it? December 23. So that's how. These are the Monet and the artists sets that they brought out in 2023. The reason why I wanted to show you this is because of the paper that I used on the background. I used watercolor paper, and I usually use the like 300 GSM, as thick as I can get it, because it's going to take water. And I'll just grab out the particular watercolor paper I use with this one. Is this one here. It's a Paul Rubens watercolor paper, and it comes from China, and it's, you know, it's not cheap. It comes in a beautiful package, Paul Rubens, and it's in this beautiful waterproof container, and it is really beautiful. But what I really love about it, why it was worth the extra cost to me, so I'm going to put this up. I just need to wait for my camera to catch up. But what I love about this particular paper is that it is shiny. It's got glitter, very, very, very fine glitter. And if I can just hold it up, just waiting for it to, if I get the angle right, you will be able to see the glitter. I can just see it there, so I'm hoping other people can see it. But it actually comes through, particularly when you're using Lindys, because the Lindys are translucent, the glitter still comes through. And so that is what I've used on these. Now these artist ones that were bought out a couple of years ago, they're actually flat. Am I telling you the truth there? Just grab them out just in case I don't want to be telling you a lie. Fairly sure they're all flats. Magical Shakers. No, it doesn't actually. Anyway, but you can see the glitter through there, and so I just love it. And using the this particular one, this was the Klimt one, that was Monet. Obviously this is Klimt, and with the beautiful colours of the pages that the colours that they created. And so it really, really does shine through really, really nicely. And so most of you probably know that I am a bit of a Lindys freak, that I love my Lindys. And that's another one that I did. And I'm just trying to see if there's, see, that one is another one that I did with the Lindys in the background there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how to do some of the magic yourself. You can do lots and lots of great things with them. You can use lots of different mediums and that kind of thing. Actually, just bear with me a minute. I'm just going to turn my fan on, sorry. Sorry about that. Didn't realise it was going to be so muggy. Of course, in Brisbane here, it's raining, raining, raining. And so I like to keep my tags in my little crafty box here that I made. But I think that's enough of show and tell. Let's get into creating some of our own little magic. So these are the two new sets. And I have done up, I usually do up a bit of a sample here, and you can see that they've all got the silver shimmer through them, and they look pretty good. Obviously, every time you use your Lindys, you have to do a colour swatch, because it depends on how much you put in as to whether what strength of colour that you're going to get. So that's the Boho Dreams set, and this is the Gypsy Vibes. What I did with these as well is I did a bit of a sprinkle and spritz down the bottom here. I mean, like I say, I love Lindys. Probably the only thing I'm disappointed in is that when these have dried, all you can really see is the silver. So that whitish sort of colour that you can see on the top, that's actually the silver that's inside them. So the silver tends to float. I think it's because it's such a fine powder, and so it just floats to the top. But because that caramel colour, when it's wet, is really, really nice. But anyway, I'm going to sort of show you that as we go along as well. Need my trusted little container to put the Lindys in, some water. And what I might do too is this is a sheet of the glitter watercolor paper. So I am going to, how wide is that? Just going to cut these up, this particular sheet up, so I can make some tags out of it. What have we got there? About 19. Okay, about 9 and a bit. I'll leave it at that. Doesn't have to be exact. And this is an American size too, this paper, so that's why I'm not really au fait with, what's that, 20, 27, 13 and a half, so we'll take it to about there. And look, I'm not worried if they're not exactly the same, that's okay. Actually, I might make this one a bit bigger. And that can be used for something else. So I might go with this one here. Alright, so that's that cut up. Okay. I can cut off the edge later. Sometimes what I'll do is I will just happen to have sitting on my desk a $2 coin. So what I'm going to do is just put that just on there a little bit. Grab a pencil, one that's sharpened perhaps would be easier. Just put that there. Yes, I've probably got fancy punches that I could use, but you don't want to wait for me to do that. So just use what's at hand. I've been cutting something with that. And so I hope the weather is nice where you people are. It is hot here at the moment. So welcome if you're tuning in. I don't know if there's any comments. I'm not seeing comments. Is there comments? I'm not sure. Can someone, if you're there, could you give me a thumbs up or a hello, just so I know if the comments are working. But anyway, there's a few people here now, so that's good. Don't worry if you've missed the start. This will be available after the live is finished. So that's, I'm kind of just doing that for the tag for the moment. I can get all fancy with it later. But what I want to do is I've got this little scrappy bit here, so we might just start putting some of these colours out. I'm going to start off with the GYPSY Vibes. I think out of both sets, the GYPSY Vibes is probably my fave. Just make sure they're all GYPSY Vibes before I do it. Yes and yes. And they've got these cute little containers now that make it easy to shake it out. What I'm going to do, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but that's exactly what I want to do. I'm just sprinkling some onto this card. What I'll do is I'll do the pink next. Put some pink down there. I have shaken these up before, so I should show you that. Come on. I don't put a lot out. Oh hello everyone. Oh, everyone's here now. Hello girls. I just wasn't sure if I was getting comments or not because there wasn't anything there. I'm assuming that a lot of the girls are kicking their heels up at the German Arms at hotel in Harndorf for the retreat this weekend. Now, what's this one here? I'm just shaking it out. This one is the caramel. I quite like this caramel one. What I might do is, I know a few of you have seen me do this kind of thing before, but we've got a lot of new visitors. Oh, which reminds me that I need to thank everyone. And you may have seen my post the other day to say that we now have 2,000 members, which I think is great. So now I'm just spritzing some water over it. And you just, I don't want to hold it too close, and we'll just sort of let it do its own thing there. So with this, you don't know what you're going to get. You can see the colours are sort of all mixing in and doing whatever they want to do. And some of the powder doesn't actually activate. I mean, if that's bothers you, just throw a bit more water, but you've got to be careful as to how much water. Hello Michelle, how are you, lovely? Are you in Adelaide yet, Michelle? Yeah, so that's just sort of doing its own little thing. So you can remember there was the fairy lights, there's the rosewood rouge and the caramel. So can you see what I mean? I actually like the caramel colour, but unfortunately I just hope that not too much of the silver floats to the top, which was the problem I had with the sprinkle and spritz on here. That is what I did here, but because, you know, I probably put a lot on, and like I said before, the silver I think floats to the top and kind of masks the real colour, because you can see underneath there, there's some beautiful colour. But we'll check in later on to see how that goes, and that can make a beautiful background. Got to be careful because I've got a lot of water on there. I'm just going to sop some of that water off, so you can see there, that's what that's like. Let's just put that over the back, and we'll check in with that later on. All right, now I've got the 5 colours in here. I need to activate the powder with my little pipette. Now, something that you may notice, I'm actually holding the pipette up high. If you don't want it too close because of the, oh, I don't know, is it the capillary action? Oh, goodness me. How's that? my old science teaching days coming back. The colour will go up the pipette, okay? So try and hold it up so that it doesn't soak back up into the pipette. I hope I impressed you with all my science terminology then. I hope I was right, but anyway. Oh, you live in South Australia? Oh, of course. Okay. Oh my goodness. 100 acres. Goodness me. Gosh, I bet you must be very dry down there at the moment. All right. It's important to mix it all in, so just make sure you clean your brush off before you dip it into the next one. And you will see, you might not see it here now, but when you mix it in, you will see that the silvery parts are at the top. Okay, so what I will do now is grab my tags that I prepared earlier and cannot find now. Where do I put them? Oh, here we are. Now what I've got here is one of those tags that has the self-embossing on it, the old Prima marketing. I think it's Prima, but I'm not real sure. So what I'm going to do is just, now these are a very, very subtle colour on these. This particular set of Lindys, obviously they have lots and lots of bright colours, but what I would do is put that on, let it dry, and sorry, just got a message then, let me get rid of it, I can't see your comments. Yeah, so oh, sorry, forgot what I was saying then. Got distracted by that message. Oh, sorry, I'd let it dry and then I might go over it with a second coat. Now, what I'm going to do is, I've just rinsed my brush out and I'm going to go into this caramel now because I really do like it. There's not a lot that, and I'm just brushing it in, just softly. I start off where it's dry and then I start pushing up into what's already there because I don't want it to mix it in too much. Just let it do its own thing. I'll bring it up to camera in a moment. Whoops. Now, if you're into really bright, strong colours, you know, you might not fancy these so much, but, you know, I think for vintage cards and things like that you're doing, I think they are a beautiful set. It's curling up a bit. I'm just trying to uncurl it a bit. Okay, that will dry, and as it dries, the embossing that's underneath it will come through. I am going to do some embossing so you can sort of see firsthand how you can make your own, because as far as I'm aware these papers aren't available anymore, but they're great for demonstrating. So you can see I've just put a couple of colours there. What I could do also, like what I did before, I grab a bit of, come on, and just flick all over the place. That way that's tying in the background again, and it, like I said before, when that's dry I can always go back and add another layer. Now obviously the substrate or the paper that you're working with does impact on how well the Lindys takes to it. Obviously a watercolor paper is the best paper to use, but this is just a cardstock, but you know, it can take some water. Let's try this one. This is beautiful. This is the Gypsy Soul Slate. And I think I could put some more. In fact, I will. I'm going to put, just make sure I got the right one. I'll put some more powder in. How much I put in determines how much colour I get. Give that bit of a swishy doodle. Hello. Yeah, we may need to. Yeah. And you look, honestly, up here, it won't stop raining up here. And I'm sorry to say that to you guys, but it just won't stop. And it looks like we've got it for another week. So I do feel for you. So that one, it's a very light one. So this could be lovely for cards and things like that. I think Lindy's is a great product to use on for cards. Lindy's does have a permanency to it. Okay? Once it's dry and it's fully dry, water won't necessarily shift it. In fact, I'll say water won't shift it. What will shift it is using something like matte medium. So, you know, you do have to be careful if you're doing a page. You've got Lindy's on the bottom that you've sprinkled and spritz. If you go then to put like a clear gesso or matte medium over it, it will shift it, okay, because it is a medium, whereas, you know, it's a bit heavier duty than just water. But for the most part, I find that Lindy's are quite permanent, reasonably permanent. But of course, with all these things, you need to test them yourself just to sort of see. There's not a lot of colour on that. I'm just going to let that dry off a little bit. That was a printed cardstock. What I will do now is with this one, this is my big tag, I'm going to get, I have a stencil here. Actually, no, it's this. Going to use it on this one. Now this is just I don't know, this is either a Dina Wakley or Natalie May tag, okay. They're very similar, so I'm just not sure. I think it could be Natalie May, but I'm not real sure. Just putting that over the top of that. I should start moving a few little things because it's going to get tricky here. When I'm embossing, because I'm such a mess, I like to have a tray, because invariably I'm going to spill something. You can see I've taped over the edges there that I don't want to colour in. Get my I usually have a special one of these things for embossing, but of course it's on my desk somewhere here and I can't find it at the moment. Alright, so I'm going to use this brush. I've got my Versamark embossing ink pad, and I am just going to rub over this stencil. This is a Bearty stencil. It's got like eucalyptus leaves draping down, so I thought I'll use this. Okay. Get off. Take that off, and I will get a piece of paper. That's a piece of paper here. that underneath there so it can catch any of my off bits. Okay. I am using Lindy's Wowzers White embossing powder. And look, honestly, I don't do all of the, you know, the dusting of the surface or anything like that, you know. I mean, if there's a bit of messy bits around it, I don't mind that. I mean, card makers might want to be more strategic about it, but to me it's part of the art process and I don't get too concerned about that kind of thing. Right, girls, oh, there it is. There's the lid. I love doing embossing, but gosh, I'm a noisy, a messy embosser. Okay, heat up my gun for a little bit. You probably can't see that at the moment, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So you can create your own embossing tags. Okay, it's starting to take now. Beautiful. I just love watching the change. It's a beautiful stencil. Couple of last bits there, beautiful. So you don't want to overheat it. Okay. All right. Get that out the way. I do find that that's so much easier for me. I don't get quite as messy. Now I don't know if you can see that in there. I'm just waiting for the camera to catch up. Yeah, you should be able to see that. So there's just beautiful little amount of powder on there. Okay, so where is where is he? Come on, there he is. I have this huge, oh look, it's so old now. It's a mop mark brush, but it's the largest round brush that they have. So I mean, you can pick them up, but I tend to use that to slosh on my colour. I'm going to go in with this colour here because I just think it is going to look really gorgeous against. Now I have not treated the background of this. I haven't put any gesso on. I prefer to not gesso when I'm doing Lindys, which is more the reason why I tend to use watercolour. Now what I'm going to do here is I'll grab the sage. This is the Smudge the Sage, and I'm going to just sprinkle over some of it as well. And I have to be careful here because it's quite wet, but now I'm going to, and it's just amazing how many colours go in to make this up. Now it's because it's curling up, I'll just put that in the side there, and I'm just going to just tip that into there so it can soak up some of this edgy bit. Now you can blend that in. I try not to, because what's the point in doing the sprinkle and spritz if you're going to do that? I'm going to bring that up to the camera. I want you to have a look at the leaves, how there's these little dots all over the leaves, and it's just the little bits of powder. Now when that dries, it's going to be really quite stunning. Also, you can see there's water beading up on where the embossing powder is, so that's good. It's a nice resist, but you can see I'm getting some interesting patterns around it. So I'm going to let that dry off for a bit now, and most times I try. Oh, something go. Must be a possum or something outside. I try to let it dry naturally, because I do think if you can use your heat gun, but it will change the colour, I believe. If I seem to get a much stronger, intense colour if I just let that dry naturally. So I'm just going to put him to the side a bit. Now you can see this one's almost dried. This is the first one that I did. Now I will, only because of what I'm doing here tonight, I am going to dry this off a bit. And mostly because I just, so we can do something else with it. What I want to do is I want to do another coat of the green on this one. Now it does all curl up because it's all wet. Most times too, when I'm doing this kind of a demonstration, that I would actually put gesso on the back, white gesso, because I know I'm going to do so much stuff to this side here. It just helps to flatten it out a bit, but wasn't that organised today to be able to do that. It is important to not rush doing something with this, because it is still quite wet around the edges. Okay, because the water wants to pool to the edge, so it, if I start doing too much to that now, I'm going to wreck the edges. So try to be patient, and I'll be doing things I don't normally do tonight purely because of time restraints. But I probably would tend to do a lot of this stuff. You don't have to leave it long. Go and have a cup of tea or something, and then come back to it later. The longer you can leave it, the better it is for the product to activate. Oh, we're out of green. Where is it? What have I done with it, girls? Ah, dear, there it is over there. All right. I haven't bored you too much just yet. I usually have a couple of spray bottles around me because I'm not organised enough to go and get a clean thing of water to do this. So I need to have 2 or 3 bottles around me at any one time. Okay, I'm just going to give that bit of a, because you do have to dissolve the powders and mix them together, okay, to get that colour that you're wanting. So again, I loved using this because it sops up so much. It sops up so much colour, mixture, I mean. So can you sort of see now, I've just added another depth of colour. That caramel is drying up. It's still got that silvery look to the top, but I can still see the brown coming through, and it is showing up on the screen, so hopefully you can see that as well. Now, something like that, I would, you know, sometimes I just dab. There's a lovely big blob here of white. It's the self-embossing. Oh gosh, it's looking so nice. But anyway, I'll just bring that up to camera so you can see it a little bit. Oh, hi Susan, how are you, lovely? You in Adelaide yet, or you're off tomorrow? Yeah, so stop playing with it. See, this is the problem. Okay, I can't help but play with it. Oops, I'll bring that down a bit, sorry. So that is looking really good. I quite like the green. I mean, I could dry that again because that's quite strength of colour. I might even do 2 or 3 layers of that on any other time. Okay, probably not tonight because I want to try and finish something off. Now here's this other one here. It's very light. So again, I'm going to bring in more colour. They're very subtle colours, but you know, I think they're not probably my normal go-to doing lots of soft things like this, but I think there's a place for them. So that's a second coat for that one. I'm used to using. Now already you can sort of, oh geez, already you can see how that one is shaping up. Heading down tomorrow, yep. Yeah, so it should be a great weekend. I hope the weather's good for you down there. Yeah, so you can see it. This is starting to shape up really nicely. You know, I quite like this. There's probably not much more I would do to that. You know, maybe a bit of stamping or something. But as far as colour goes, it's subtle, but I think it lends itself to the stencil that I've used to keep it like this. So it is actually quite wet too. It's very, very wet, as you can probably see on the background there. So I'm hesitant to do anything more with that tonight. Let it dry properly. Do a few little bits and pieces on it, not much, but a bit of mark making or something, and just put a quote or a picture on it. But I'll show you that tomorrow when it's dried. I don't want to touch it because I want to let those beads dry on top of those leaves. So to me that's like a splatter, so I'm going to leave that one alone. I might grab out another one of these guys, and I've got sorry, I can't grab anything. Here we go. Oh gosh. So this is the second lot. This is the Boho Dreams, or whatever it's called. Yeah, Boho Dreams. Okay, so this is a different set. That's this one here. Okay. Now, as you can see, I put little tags on the top, but those colours are nowhere near what was on there. So I'm actually going to redo them tonight when I do this. I'm going to put a lot more. What I probably should show you is that you can either sprinkle it in like that, or you can actually lift it off and spoon in as much as you like. Okay, probably if I was using this more often, I'd probably do that, because I'd probably put in a bit more than I would normally do, purely because I just think it's a very light set. Just be careful taking that lid off, because you don't want to rip the top off it. Just give it a bit of a... With Lindys you don't normally need a lot, but in this case I probably would add a little bit more than I would normally. See, this is a beautiful colour. Chilly but dry. It's always chilly though, isn't it? For us Queenslanders. All right. I'm not sure if Claire's going to get sunny weather when she comes up to Brisbane next week, but anyway, let's hope so. But it's supposed to be raining all next week, I believe. But it's kind of been on and off. We'll get a good dose of rain and then all of a sudden the sun comes out. So it's hard to pick at the moment. So can you see here, on that pink one, I just put a little bit of water because I want to keep the strength of colour, but I know I put a lot of that yellowy colour in. Same with this one here. I could probably get away with putting a little bit more water. So, you know, you can vary it to suit the colour that you do, but you should always do a colour swatch before you actually, oh, sorry, stop that. Now, okay, mix it in. So this is like a light oyster pink colour. I'm just going to go straight into there because it's a stronger colour. Okay, this time clean it off. Alright, so you can see that they're much stronger than what I've got on my lids there, so I will redo those after. Okay, now let me see what I've got here. I have got this. Oh, this is a pretty one. Okay, so this is another one of those self-bossed ones. It actually has lots of flowers on it and a little bit of text. So let's see how we go with this one. Where's my, oh come on, where are you? There you are. Okay, so I'm going to grab this pinky colour. Now I am going to grab some of this rose from over here, so it's slightly different. So I'm starting back here where it's dry, and then I'm just going to start pushing into the existing colour that's there, and just let them do their own thing for the moment. Start off here. Oh, didn't get much there. So I'm just using a couple of colours on this, mostly because they are a little bit different. I'm going with the same colour tones there by using the different pinky tones. But if I start putting the yellow in with this, it's going to start going to mud, okay? You still have to be careful with all of that kind of technical stuff. And whilst you might not see it much now, the design is starting to come out as it dries off a little bit. So I'm putting lots and lots and lots on. Now I know that looks a little bit like a red hot mess at the moment, but you can see down the bottom here that the print is starting to come through, and I'm just running my finger along there just to, and always use your paper towel to sop up. I'm not rubbing, I'm just letting the paper towel do the work on this side. Oops. Ah. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a moment and see how that goes. Let it dry off for a bit, and then I'll do some drawing with it. Okay, now what I might do with this is a similar sort of thing to the pattern that's there. What I might do is just sort of show you, it's a bit yellowy. Let me see what other, I want to add a bit of like, oh here we go. This is some tissue paper I made up for, I don't know, one of the classes I've done recently. And I'm just going to tear it up. I just want to show you other different things that can happen. So I'm going to get my matte medium. Oh, I might use this one tonight. This is a new one, the acrylic matte medium. Oh, it's brand new, haven't even used it. It's still got its lid on it. Just poke that out. See how new it is. I haven't opened it up properly. Hi Wendy, how are you? Home from the German Arms, or you're still down there? Okay. This will do. Alright, matte medium. It's a liquid matte medium. I'm just going to put some tissue paper on there. You're probably not going to see it, but I just want you to see what happens when you put Lindys over collage paper. You're back? Yeah. Is it chilly down there now, or you've... I like the German Arms because you get to sit in front of the fire and... Now I've got some pink on my desk and it's picking up anything that I have. Alright, and I'll just put one more little piece, how about just a little bit along the bottom there. No rhyme or reason to any of this. Okay, so we'll dry that off. Is this one too noisy otherwise? Cooler than yesterday, okay. So I'll bring that up just so you can sort of see that I've just got a little bit of paper on there, and I'll show you what it's like. The tissue paper that I used was the Dina Wakley tissue paper, so that's a pretty good one too. When I always use the dull side because that's also good for absorbing the put that in there, absorbing the what is it, Lindys? Sorry, too much going on at once here. Get some more paper towel. Oh, okay, alright, that sounds awesome. Enjoy it while you can. Alright, so let's try this. Put that on there. Just want you to sort of see, it might pool up a little bit, but it will dry, okay? And I'm being naughty here, mixing some of my colours. So you can sort of see it does pool up. You can use it, but it's not quite as efficient as using it straight onto the card itself. What I might do is use this colour, add a little bit there. See how we go with all of that. Alright, so we'll see how that works out too. Alright, just put that there. I'm going to put my leaf one over there. Let's bring him back. This is one that I did before. I'm going to dry it off now a little bit. Might wipe that up because I'm not going to do any more with that. So obviously these can't handle the water as well as the watercolour paper. Which Lindys? I am using the two new ones tonight. The Boho Dreams and the GYPSY Vibes. So they're the two new sets. They're a lot softer than what I would normally use, but you know, I think they have their place in what we do. Okay, I'm going to bring that one back now. The embossing is starting to come through nicely. Alright, now let's have a look. So I have dried that off a bit. It's still kind of wettish, but I just want you to sort of see the design coming through, which you'll see that it's very similar. It's from the same page as that one. Okay, so it's those kind of flowers, and let's just see. Yes, it is GYPSY Vibes. I got that one this afternoon, so that prompted me to do this, because I already had the other one and I was just waiting for the GYPSY Vibes to come in, and yes, so I got mine this afternoon. Yes, so I think that looks pretty cool. Alright, sorry, I'm not watching properly to see where it's at. Okay, just making sure you can see it. Alright, the light pink doesn't show through. You can obviously, the darker the colour, the better the embossing comes through. It is only a fine embossing too. I mean, that the embossing that I did before was so much more detailed. So you know, all of those factors determine what your end result is going to be. Now there is something else I want to show you as well while we're waiting for some of these things to dry. Didn't do a very good job of putting that on. Something else, oh, let's move that out the way because I don't want that to get wet. I'm just going to, I want to show you another technique that you can do with, I'm going to use the bright, the rouge, what is it, Rosewood Rouge. So I'm just going to put that right across there, because I want it to be fairly dense. Going to let that dry off for a bit, and then I'm going to show you a nice technique too that you can do with that one. So I'll let that dry off a bit. Okay, let's, whoops. So I really haven't done much to this tag at all except put a bit of Lindys on. What I might do now is grab what's the stencil I've got here? Oh, here I've got the stencil. I found this one the other day. This is a Crafter's Workshop stencil that I've had for forever. So I'm going to get that and a little bit of oh, I can't find anything here. Here we go. This is volume paste. This is the Stamperia one. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit through there, a little bit through there. Not doing too much because I want to be able to dry it off fairly quickly. So just putting a couple of little bits here and there. All right, wipe that off straight away so it doesn't get yucky. Just want to get that texture paste off it. Wipe it off that. Okay. I don't mind using this volume paste when I'm doing something like this. I've only done it very, very lightly because I want to try and dry it off a little bit. So this time I'm putting texture paste over the Lindys. And then I'll put a bit more contrasting Lindys. I might put this dark colour on here and just see how we go with that. So there's not a lot of texture paste on here. I like to use this tray thing. It just means that the heat goes through and so that the moisture isn't sitting on the back all the time, so it's actually pushing through and drying off. So it's just a silicone mat that I got from Kmart for $5, and to me it's the best thing since sliced bread. It dries everything so well. Okay, that's enough heat in that. Let that settle down a little bit. Okay. We'll just let that dry off a little. Okay. I'm going to go back to this little fella here. I'm going to dry him off. So that was just the rouge colour put onto there. I'm not going to dry it thoroughly. I just want to take some of that shine off. Again, I would normally let this dry naturally. It is a good idea, Wendy. I'm glad I found it. It was only $5. But the strange thing about it, it's you're supposed to put it in your kitchen. So I'm not quite sure why you put it in your kitchen sink, but that's what it's advertised as. Something to put in your kitchen sink to keep, I guess, the plates off the sink. I don't know. But anyway, I use it as a heat tool. All right, now that is kind of dry. Something that you can do to add another technique is to get your big round brush, dip it into the water. Don't just tap it so that the excess comes off a bit. Just tap over. Now if you time it right, you'll get a good effect on here. Just let it sit there for a second. Then I'm going to grab some paper towel and let that lift off, okay? Probably not as effective as I would have liked, but if you get it at the right, sometimes I just dip my fingers in, end up with a big flick. Because it depends on the Lindys too, so that didn't work as well as I'd hoped, but anyway, I'm going to flick and just let that sit for a little bit. See how that goes. Let that soak in for a bit. Now, going back to this guy. Hope I'm not confusing you all here, but sometimes when you're working with Lindys, you have to do this. Because you're waiting for something to dry all the time. So here we go. We'll see what this looks like when you put some Lindys over texture paste. I might use the caramel. Start off down the bottom and then I'll push my way up and then just let that soak itself in. There we go. So we'll let that dry off for a little bit. So I'll just hold that up so you can sort of see that. I love those two colours together, and I love them on a wall. Makes a beautiful brickwork colour. So that's going to look really. Oh, I keep holding it up too high. I think I'm too close. Sorry. I'll bring that down a little bit. Just waiting for the camera to catch up. Yeah, okay, so we'll let that sit like that for a while too. Okay, this one I'm just going to, oh God, everything's so wet. I'm frightened to do anything with, because don't normally do this quickly. That's okay. Probably should have prepared a couple. Oops. There you go. Here's another technique that we'll do. That's just prompted me to do another technique. Okay. I am going to put too much water in there. I'm going to grab a puddle of this. Just putting it all over my table here. Grab some of that. Put that there too. And I am just going to dab it into it. Probably won't see it too much because they're not very bright colours. Let's try a darker colour. Let's go to the... Let's grab that pink. So it's pulling up onto the desk there. Okay. So rather than wipe it up when you've got a spill, just grab a piece of card. Okay, so now you've got another. This is the lovely watercolour paper. Alright. That's going to look beautiful. See, you can tell that the surface that you use makes all the difference. Okay, so can you imagine doing something like that on your gel plate? That's another thing we've got to do. Gel plate with Lindys. That is going to look stunning. So we'll put that aside. So now I've got all these half-finished tags that what I'm going to do here is let me just see what I've got here. Nothing really matches that. It's too big. No, none of the pictures I've got are much good. I'm going to cut these up because they're not really the right sort of colourings, but I'm going to make them the right colour tone. So this one here, I'm going to cut. These are the Natme, what is it? Pablo's Girls. On the nice cardstock. So just bear with me while I cut these up. I'm going to use this girl here. And I'm just chopping most of the white off. I don't want too much white. I haven't done it beautifully, but anyway. Now, I'm just looking at what I've got here. Now, what else have I got here? Okay, I've got this one as well. So I'm going to dry this one off first because I just want that one to dry off a bit. I'm going to use this. The colours aren't quite right, although that yellow there does blend in nicely. So that colour does look nice on there. It's got a little bit of reddy colour. So what I'm going to do is get my here we go. I'm going to do some splatters. So I've got a fan brush, and I hope I haven't lost anyone here. So I'm just going to do some splatters on that. Now I will dry them off because they won't dry as quickly as inks do, and a lot of, they're going to sink into the background there. And take on that nice pinky tone. I'm going to have to do gesso on the back because this is driving me crazy. Alright. Now I want to put her on here. Okay. I mean it's not all ideal, but I'm working with what I've got. I want to put her on here, but it doesn't quite mix in with the colours that I've got there. So what I'm going to do is grab my, not that one, yeah, this will do, the teeny, I just want a yellow. This is the Summer Break, which is probably one of my most used ones. And so what I will do here is just grab a little bit, chuck that into there. Okay, so it's just going to brighten up that yellow. So let's blend that in. Okay, and I might use my fan brush again, but this time just putting a few little, yellow brightens up any surface that you have. So there you go. I'm not going to do much more than that. So all already I have brought that to be the same. Okay, so it's pretty much, there is a link there. Now what I want to do is I want to link this picture, this to the picture. So I'm going to grab a tiny brush like this one, just a small brush. And what I'm going to grab is, let me have a look at it. I am going to grab this, what colour is this? The slate. And I'm going to just gently put it, it's not going to be perfect because it depends on the picture, what it's been printed onto, but some of it will take, and it will be just enough colour so that it blends in with the backgrounds there. Okay, so I'm just trying to blend everything in together. So I'm just putting a small layer of colour on her dress. Some of it takes, some of it doesn't, but it does take, it's going on to that white bit, which is great. Now, what I will also do is, I'm going to grab a little bit. Oh, here we go. Let's do this. So see, you know, it's just like paint. You can colour mix it to suit. Now, it does bead up. It doesn't like it all the time, but that's okay. I just continue, and a little bit of that colour will stay there. Okay. So again, it's just all subtle, but it's there. Alright. Now I'm going to grab, where is this? Just want to grab, it's all beading up there, so I just want to grab that off. Okay. Try not to put too much water on it because you will get a mark on it. Okay. So I have coloured her up. I don't have a second one to show you, but so now her dress is all shimmery, so it will look so much better on here when I've done it. So I'll just do a little bit of a I really like the yellow on here. Okay. Let's have a look at what we've got on here. We've got okay. Just going to grab a stamp of some description. Just a little stamp to do a little bit of something. I think I might stick with this one. I seem to like this one at the moment. And I'm going to use grey as opposed to black because I don't want it to stand out too much. Just a very light tap. Oh gosh. Right, tap up the top there, a bit there. Alright, now also I will do a bit on here as well. I always like to try and link them in together a bit. Okay, just a little. Alright, so you can see there now the girl and the background are very similar now, okay, because they were quite different. Now I've made them almost like they're meant to be together, okay. So that one I'm pretty happy with. I'm not going to do too much more than that to that one. Let me just finish that one off. Again, I've got my grey. I'm using watering can. It's my go-to. I could have edged up the edges if I wanted it a bit more grungy, but I'm not too worried about all of that for tonight. excuse me, leaning over. I'm just going to I like to dirty that up a bit too. Alright, put that over there. Okay, thinking on my feet here, guys, so just bear with me for a moment. There's a little bit of red on her that I just want to sort of put on here a little bit, not too much. So I've got some red cotton here. How are we going for time? What time do I start? Yeah. We'll have a look and see how all our other bits are going. Oh gosh. No, I'm not going to use that. This might be better. This is like a caramel colour. So I'm just going to swoosh that up. Swoosh it up there a little bit. So that sticks up there. Why is it every time you go to use it, it empties? Especially when you're doing a live. Come on. Just in a couple of spots. Okay, and so I'll probably put that there like that. I'm going to put a little bit down the bottom. Okay, so we've got a little bit there. Alright, and I will put some words or something on there as well. So I've just, it probably works out better to put the caramel cotton on. Oops. So I'll just sort of show you that there. Okay, can you see that? Gosh, it's slow to catch up. I don't know if it's what it's like for you guys, but so slow. So you can just see that there's a little bit of cotton. Maybe the red would have been stand out too much. Hang the expense. Seems silly, but I'm just going to put, oh, because it's a tag, I don't want it to stand out too much. Seems like a bit of an overkill, but that's me. All right. Oops. So I'm going to put it up higher a little bit, kind of in the middle there. So goodness me, I've got one done. I will put a quote or something on there, but that's one that's been done. Bit of yellow to tie in the girl Okay, a bit of, it's a pinky colour rather than the red. But, and then I've got the beautiful silvery colour on the on there. So that's one that I've done. Put that aside. Let me have a look at, let's just have a look at what we've got here. Okay, look at that, that is beautiful. That's probably my favourite. Actually, these two are my favourites. Okay, this one needs a nice picture on it too. Don't know if I've got anything here that I like. I'll have to have a look and see what else I've got to put on that. So I might finish those off tomorrow. And but really, honestly, what I was really wanting to show you today was just the new Lindys. This one I love. I want to find the perfect picture for that, so I'm going to keep looking for that one. I may add a little bit more Lindys. I'm not sure. But of course I'll put some stamping on and that kind of thing. But it's looking nice, and I'm so glad I found that stencil. It was just going through all my old stencils that I don't use, tucked away in the drawer, and I come across this one and I thought, oh, I like that. I like the texture on that. So I'm going to let these dry off because they're very, very wet on the back, and I'm not doing any favours for anybody by playing with them when they're not ready. Same with this guy. Okay. He's pretty boring, so I have to do something a lot with him. And I'll work out what I'm going to do with this one too. This one I really, really like. I could put some more colours on that. In fact, I think I might use that blue. We'll do that before we go home. And so then I'll leave you girls it's going to be a purpley colour because there's a bit of pink on it. Put that on, see how we go with that. Awesome. So a little bit of contrast there, so it's got that mauvey sort of tone to it. Yeah, like I say, it's probably not my one I would go to all the time, you know, because I like lots of bright colours. But, you know, I mean, you find the right picture. I mean, you know, that looks lovely. I think it looks lovely with that. Yeah, we could put some more on it, but I've got to put a quote on there, maybe a few little marks, but you know, it's not probably the perfect picture for the background, but it does make the background makes the image stand out more. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And that, I think, is shaping up to be really, really, really nice. But I'm not going to do any more to that because I don't want to spoil it. But I'll play with that tomorrow, and so I'll put up lots of pictures of all of the different bits that I've played with, and so you can see what the outcome has been with it. But I've just shown you a few little things that you can do with your Lindys, and yeah, so if you've got them, please don't let them sit in your cupboard. Get them out. I mean, I love playing with the Lindys. I love playing with the embossing powders as well. There's some beautiful textured embossing powders, so please do get them out if you've got any at home. If you want to try something, sometimes the colours can be quite intense. Maybe this kind of set is the one that you want, so that you get that nice, you get a bit of subtlety, but there is some impact there as well. To me, there's a bit of little bit of impact on there. I could do a lot more with that one, with adding more colours. I mean, I've got lots of different browns that I could probably add on there as well, but the purpose was to use these Bohemian Lindys. So thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight, and thank you for supporting me, and I look forward to creating with you very, very soon. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Have a good night and enjoy the retreat, you ladies who are going. See you later. Lots of pics, please.